Hello, and welcome to Bored and Confused, where I review shows based on two criteria. One, was I bored? Two, was I confused? Now, before we get into it, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me grow this channel. So today's show is And Then We War No More. This is a new play by Tim Blake Nelson and directed by Mark Wing-Davey, playing at MaMa Ellen Stewart Theater. I was there on a press ticket, so thank you to MaMa for having me. Now, I don't think I've ever covered a play at MaMa before, so I'm excited to bring MaMa to this channel. It's one of those downtown off-Broadway institutions known for experimental, risk-taking work. Definitely not the kind of theater that you're going to see on Broadway or even most off-Broadway stages. The author, Tim Blake Nelson, who you might know as a character actor from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, has also been steadily building a career as a playwright. Here, he is taking on an interesting subject. It is a dystopian future where the justice system is run by algorithms rather than humans. So these algorithms figure out who's going to commit crimes and how these trials will unfold. In this world, crime has been nearly eliminated. And it's so unusual that our lead character, played by Elizabeth Marvel, is a defense attorney who hasn't had a case in over a year. She is chosen by the machine or the algorithm to defend a woman who is on death row, played by Elizabeth Yeoman. And this is her off-Broadway debut, and she's fantastic. Now, this woman had originally requested a painless execution, but she has now changed her mind, meaning that there has to be a trial to decide how she's going to be executed. What then unfolds is a series of confrontations between this defense attorney and the state prosecutor, played by Scott Shepard. He is very pragmatic state official. Also rounding out the cast is Jennifer Magbach as a financier hungry to export the system for profit, and Henry Stram as the keeper of the machine. Now, the show runs about 2 hours with an intermission. The first act is on the longer side, and then the second act is really short. It's almost like a coda. But honestly, if you're going to structure a play unevenly, that's the way to do it. The pacing really picks up for that final scene after intermission, or final two scenes after intermission, and the second act gets swiftly to a thought-provoking conclusion, perhaps confusing conclusion. So, was I bored? I was a little bit in the first act. Some of the scenes between the defense attorney and the accused got a little tedious for me because there's been this choice that the accused woman is speaking in this strange way. She says words, but she does not put them in grammatically correct sentences. And the defense attorney doesn't seem surprised by the way she's speaking. So I found that a little confusing. And I feel like what the play was trying to say is that she's been so mistreated because she's been found guilty of this crime that she's now become this kind of guinea pig where they are taking DNA samples, and maybe she's been lobotomized. She has this kind of head covering, and she's got bruises on her arms. So I don't know if the reason she's speaking like that because of this trauma that's been inflicted upon her. The language, it didn't feel realistically like someone who'd been traumatized. It just was strange to me because she speaks very clearly these words, and many of these words are SAT words, but she doesn't conjugate them in sentences. So I just found that a little odd and confusing. And I felt like I was seeing the playwright more than the character who was having some kind of traumatic brain injury. Still, Yeoman brings such a commitment to this character that it's hard not to feel sympathy for her. And she makes the character far more layered than the script alone might suggest. Also, I got a little tired of some of the conversations between the defense attorney and the prosecutor because they got very philosophical about things, and it kind of, I don't know, it got a little talky for me at times. The production design is actually quite striking in its simplicity. The scenic designer, David Meyer, seems to be operating within a budget. So he uses simple orange tubes and wire mesh and gratings and just keeps everything very simplistic but very effective. Now, about the script, I think Nelson is at his best when he's exploring big, urgent questions: justice, democracy, free will, the cost of security. It's ambitious, but it's compelling. But at the same time, it sometimes gets bogged down in philosophical tangents that slow the momentum. And when we get to that short second act, it doesn't quite mesh with what we know about the defense attorney's character. For me, the ending felt a little unsatisfying, almost like a little bit of a betrayal of this strong figure that we'd been following. And I was very surprised by this abrupt ending. And I had to have a good 15-minute discussion with my theater companion for us to kind of make sense out of it. But we did eventually kind of come to an understanding of what the playwright was going for. So in a way, I mean, it was great in that we left, the play ended and we had to kind of think about it and then kind of make sense. And then we were like, oh, that's what's going on. But if I'd been alone, I don't know if I would have figured it out on my own. So was I bored? A little in the long stretches of Act 1. Was I confused? Definitely, particularly with the prisoner's fractured speech patterns. But I do like the choice of really illustrating how abused this woman has been. But it wasn't quite working for me. And Then We Were No More is exactly the kind of show that La Mama exists to produce. It's urgent, it's thought-provoking, it's not a really polished Broadway spectacle, but it's got some really interesting ideas that really stick with you. So if you're into experimental theater or dystopian stories that feel eerily possible, this is one to check out. The play is running at La Mama's Ellen Stewart Theater. Tickets run between $50 to $100, and Today Tix has some discounted tickets for, I believe, $43. So check it out and let me know what you thought in the comments below.